Bro.
Folks call him. Hey, what's going on? Doing good, man. How you doing?
Say hi to the camera.
What?
Yeah, shop vibes.
Baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
Turbo
Treasure
here.
Island blessings.
Awesome.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep. Nope. Down here and check you out here a little bit.
Sweet.
Start a YouTube video,
Little
so.
pirate,
Yeah, I
don't
know.
you
I was
know?
gonna say, you're doing great
Look
there.
at Chop Eyes boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
man.
All right, found a nice little place that's kind of out of the wind down here at Treasure Island. It's a pretty windy day today, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's 86 degrees and sunny. But the reason why I guys wanted to talk to you today about is there's been questions about the fairing vents, and it's Harley designed those fairing vents specifically to get air moving in front of the rider. Back in the old pre-19, I believe, you were able to adjust the Rogue Glide fairings with a button inside. Those broke. Harley is like, nah, we're not doing it. So there's actually secondary vendors. They're still making those. And you can go ahead and get those and put those on. Just be wary that they probably will break at some point. The big thing that I'm seeing is with the mesh covering. Like, I've got the Custom Dynamics vent light, and it's got a mesh covering on it. That really does cut down a lot of that air coming through. And there's other companies that make just the mesh to put over that. One good thing about the mesh is it stops the bugs from coming straight through that opening and smacking you. And it doesn't constrict that air flow. So if you close those off, what it does is it creates kind of like a vacuum behind that fairing right in your chest. Some people complaining that their hats are flying up and stuff like that. You're getting that updraft, and it basically becomes a Venturi effect in front of you. If you didn't have those vents on the fairing, or if you closed them all off, you would have a lot more of that Venturi working it, knocking hats off, taking your beard up into your eyes, stuff like that. So if you don't get the ones that are adjustable, and with the vent that's on top of the fairing, play with that door. You can close it and you'll see how it kind of changes that air. That's not strictly to come and cool you off. It's mechanically doing different things to the airflow in front of the rider. So that's one thing to look at. There is a company out there, I'll throw a link down in my description, that makes mesh covering for that top and for both sides next to the headlight. I think they're $89 for the 3 set. If you want to do all 3 of them, and then they sell them individually as well. So again, check the link out for that. Other than that, the vents are what the vents are. That's just the way it is. I understand why Harley did it. I understand that it functionally it's doing something to make the riding experience a little bit more improved for the rider. So the word on the street is the tuners. The tuners right now, they're including Harley-Davidson. There is absolutely no map for the Rogue Glide 3. It's such a brand new model that, as far as the ECM goes, I personally think that they could probably just use the same mapping as a Tri-Glide. We have all these same electronics. We've got the head unit, the boom, GTS, infotainment center, we've got the speakers, we've got the reverse, we've got all the same controls as the Tri-Glide does, except we don't have a bigger box and a tour pack. That's really the only difference between the two. So if you all are listening to me out there, Dynajet, Vance & Hines, Harley-Davidson, look at the mapping on the Tri-Glides and how you have that set up to do a stage 1 or a stage 2. And look to see how that would work for the RG3s. So got a couple guys, one of my brothers, Chris Glides and Low Rides, he ordered the new Screaming Eagle tuner to put on his RG3. Took, oh gosh, multiple hours trying to get that all done, whether he used the Bluetooth app, whether he used his laptop with the ECM plugged in. it's blank. There's nothing there. What's another thing that happened with one of our buddies, Brandon, Harper Life on YouTube, he went ahead and did a stage 3 kit on his. However, they replaced that ECM with a freewheeler ECM, which also does something different with the controls that aren't similar with a freewheeler and a road glide. So I don't know, I don't think I would go that route. I would basically just kind of hang tight. These vendors, Harley-Davidson, from what I've heard is into April, mid-May, we might start seeing some of these vendors offering a tuner for the Road Glide 3. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is the reverse motors. So if anybody is new to Harley-Davidson trikes, they have a reverse motor. You have to understand this has nothing to do with your motorcycle motor whatsoever. It's an additional electric motor that is basically a beefed up starting motor. So that gear shoots out and actually powers the rear gear to make the reverse work. Again, you have to be in neutral, hold the reverse button down, which is also the start button, by the way. Hold that button down, you'll see the R come up on your tachometer, and then you hit it again, and that will create the reverse. From my experience seeing it with tri-glides, is those go out, and when they go out, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So I wouldn't routinely use it. I don't routinely use it. The only time I've really used it is if I've parked somewhere where my front end's downhill and I couldn't push the trike up, or my wife's on it, we're sitting somewhere and I need to reverse. What I do typically at home is I put my bike in neutral, take the parking brake off of it, I push it out of my garage and line it up to go. If I'm in a parking lot somewhere and I'm on a slope, I just let it coast down and turn around. If I'm on the flat, put my feet down on the ground and push it backwards like you would push a motorcycle backwards. So just kind of watch what you're doing with that reverse motor. If you're using it constantly, expect it to go out at some point. The braking system is a different animal too, that you're not used to on regular motorcycles. Now, if you had a touring motorcycle that had the RDRS system on it, which the same as the trikes, we have the RDRS system, and it has the electronic link brake system. So if you press the foot brake down, which is your rear brakes, it will also apply pressure to the front. If you grab a handful of front brake, it will provide pressure to the rear wheels. The one thing you need to understand with trikes, which I have learned over the last month and a half now, almost 2 months, yeah, 2 months, and the braking, you have to understand with a motorcycle, you want more front braking than rear. On the trike, honestly, you want more rear than front. You've got 2 car tires back there. You've got more surface area that's going to slow you down. Also, with braking on the back, that does kind of throw your front end down a little bit. Now, if you've hit the back brake and then you go to grab the front brake, you're going to notice that it's really stiff. Sometimes you'll grab it and it's really soft. Let go of it, grab it again, and it will have the pressure there. The one thing, like with traffic down here in Florida, I get somebody that comes shooting out. I grab, a handful of brake with my foot and my hand, and this trike will stop on the dime. You just get used to your bike. That's really the big thing. It's not like a motorcycle, so you just got to understand that. Last thing I wanted to touch on is Wobble, Death Shake, Tank Slapper, whatever. Some people have asked me on the channel here and on the comments of my videos if the Road Glide 3 has a wobble to it. I've known of other road glides and other motorcycles that do have that wobble. The one thing we need to understand about the wobble is 9 times out of 10 there's a mechanical faction to it. Either the tire is off center due to manufacturing problems. The wheel itself isn't balanced correctly. The bearings are worn out. front axle's not tightened up. So those are the big things as far as the wobble goes. So you really, if you're starting to have a wobble, you need to make sure that you check it mechanically first. Now, road surfaces will also possibly be a factor into a wobble. For somebody that rides a motorcycle and jumps on a trike and they're saying it has a wobble, it's probably not a wobble. You've got 3 wheels now. So those 2 rear wheels, depending on the grade of the road, if there's a pothole, if there's gravel, if there's a crack, whatever, just an uneven surface, it's going to make that trike bounce up and down and give that front end a little bit of a wobble. As far as like motorcycles and stuff, you know, if you apply power to a motorcycle, it'll ride straight. It's the rider is the one that's affecting what the motorcycle wants to do, not the other way around. So if you get into that situation where you feel a little bit of a wobble, look at the surface that you're riding. It's not just a high-speed, low-speed thing. The wobble itself most generally is a mechanical failure at some point, whether, you know, like I've said, manufacturer of tire, balance speeds versus weights on the rim, bearings, you know, all that good stuff. So if you do experience a wobble in your handlebar, take it to your service advisor, explain what's going on, and they'll go down the line checking everything accordingly. But as far as just riding surfaces, the trikes do not ride like a motorcycle when it's going over uneven surfaces. You know, like I've said on that one video of the transition, you got to let the trike undulate under you. You have to keep your body fluid. You can't be just rigid and stuff like that. So that trike's going to move underneath you. There are tons of videos out there about the death wobble or the tank slapper or whatever, so you can check those out as well. But on a motorcycle, it's completely different than the trike. The one thing that you want to make sure you do is if you start getting a wobble in there, let off the gas, don't hit your front brake, and get your weight over the gas tank, the fuel tank, a little bit more, which creates a little bit more down pressure on the front end. And the machine itself, hopefully at that point, will equal itself out. And once you're done through the wobble or the shake or the shimmy or whatever, like I said, go check with your service advisor at a dealership or the shop that you have work on your stuff, and have them really check out that front tire. And not only the front tire, but the rear tires as well. Again, as always, thanks again for checking out my videos here. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell, or I should say hit that bell, to get notifications of when I post up. Like I said, I'm going to stick to this Monday, Thursday thing, so you guys know what schedule when videos are going to be coming out, and it makes YouTube happy too as well, trying to get that stuff done. Again, thanks for everything. Thanks, got a shout out from Determined Veteran. Thank you very much for your comment. I truly appreciate it, and your well wishes. Again, go check out Chris Glides and Low Rides, the Harper Life, if you want to see anything else as far as Rogue Glide 3 stuff. And congratulations to Chris Glide, Low Rides. He just hit 1,000 subscribers, so great on him, man. Good job, brother. Congrats. All right, you guys take care. Be safe, be blessed, give more. Peace.